Just waiting 1 second, just getting some stuff going. Okay, here we go. Let's go. All right. Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Devils. Welcome to basically the first live stream of the channel, the first technically official live stream of the channel. How are you all doing today? Still waiting for some people to join in, but we're getting in anyway. It's good to be back on a proper live and lots of news breaking out with Manchester United today. Actually, I say a lot, average news. It's the weekend, not much is happening, but we've got some news to get into. But before we get into that, I just want to do a big thank you to everyone that has subscribed over the last 10 days to 2 weeks or so. It's been a awesome journey so far. And basically, this whole stream is dedicated to that at the moment. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, anything, just pop them below and I'd be happy to answer, any Manchester United questions, any questions about myself, go ahead and answer them below while we get stuck into some news today. And just a few things to get into. First of all, how's everyone doing? It's a good Saturday. It's pretty rainy and windy here today in North London, but I don't know if the entire country is like that, or I don't know what the weather's like where you are possibly watching from, but let me know. Tell me down below. Anyway, let's talk. We're going to go through the ins first, and then we're going to go through some outs. Not as many outs as there ins, but there has been some news on ins. So we're going to start with Andre Onana. Where is Andre Onana, right? If you've watched any of my videos of the last few days, I basically said this deal is done, which this deal is pretty much done. They are just sorting out the payment wise, like how they're going to get these payments in, because y'all obviously we're not going to pay the entire 50 mil right up front or 60 million euros right up front. We're going to set up payment plans to that. So I think they're just sorting that out. I don't know if we're going to expect a here we go during the weekend. We don't really see a lot of here we goes during the weekend, but it can happen. It has happened before, but I wouldn't expect anything from Manchester United over the weekend. We tend to stay very quiet over the weekends, and we'll probably announce. I'm hoping we get him announced before we leave. I think on Wednesday to the States. Um, but yeah, Fabrizio Romano has mentioned already that he had his last meal. I'm sure you've all seen those photos circling around of him at that restaurant with the Inter teammates. He has apparently reported to training as well, but that deal is basically all but done. He's all but a Manchester United player. They are just sorting out the last details of the contract, the payment. Like I said, the payment plans, how they're going to structure that payment, and also, we all know that he's already agreed to the terms to move to the club. This is going to be a really fun signing. I want to know what everyone thinks about that. It's going to be a very nerve wracking signing because, we haven't really seen a new goalkeeper in like 12 years. Um, we did have Sergio Romero in for a little bit as a backup. We got some games in, but we haven't seen anything but David De Gea for the last 12 years. So it's going to be an interesting transition. It's going to be a different transition. There's going to be a lot of moments where our our hearts are just our stomachs. I'll say our stomachs will drop to the ground because he's going to have some pretty gnarly mistakes in there. But also some pretty gnarly play with his feet. It's gonna be really fun to watch. I'm super excited. I think he might be the most exciting transfer we do over the summer. Very pumped up. Let me know what you think, and let's stay on goalkeepers. You know about I think it was about a week or 10 days ago. The name Zion Suzuki popped up out of nowhere. No one heard of this guy. No one knew where he came from. Well, if you know now, he's from the Urawa Reds. I'm just making the Red Diamonds in Japan from the Japanese league. He apparently is set to make a £5 million move to Manchester United over the next. I think they're working on this deal. The headline was two deals being worked on at once, and that is Zion Suzuki and Andre Onana. So I would expect this to happen in the coming days. It's a very quick, easy deal to do. He does want to come, and I'm not sure if anyone has actually watched this guy, but he's actually pretty decent. He has he's younger to Onana and has a very similar play style to Onana. There's not that many clips of him online, but the ones I have seen do show why we went out and bought this guy, or not bought him, but are about to buy him. So could be a good backup. I don't know how much he'll play, but when he does need to play, there won't be too much drop off. And our the big thing is that our style won't change. We'll be able to maintain our style of play and have a better transition to our backup. So we couldn't really do that last year. We have never really been able to do that if we're being honest. All of our backups for for most of our positions have had a big drop off in the last 24 months. So it's going to be nice to have a position where the backup doesn't isn't necessarily a huge difference. He won't be the same quality, but at least we'll be able to maintain the same style of play once he is on the field. So that's really a big thing. But it does look like a £5 million move is going to be set to be to complete in the next few days. Um, there's been lots of movement on this over the last few days. Yeah, in our second, this is coming from the Metro Daily Mail, and even Fabrizio Romano has mentioned that we are beginning the talks with this guy. So looks cool. Looks like we'll have our new goalkeepers for hopefully the next decade or so. And yeah, good, all good there. I'm really excited for how our goalkeeping line is shaping up. It's going to be really interesting next season. And yeah, let me know what you think. Hope you're just as excited as I am. I think the position is going to be just as interesting as the striking position. And speaking of the striking position, there has the Rasmus Hoyland deal at the moment seems to be getting more difficult by the day. He is the striker we are going for, and he is the striker I do believe we will get. But it's going to be a battle to get him, not with any other clubs, just with Atalanta. He they've reported they reportedly want 85 million pounds for this guy, 100 million euros. Come on. It I need all those drugs they're doing. That's mind-boggling. This guy scored like what, 14 goals last year. Last year was his first year. He he got he got switched out of a team in like the Danish division. And last year was his first year in a big division. 14 goals, and they want 85 fucking million pounds for this fool. Sorry, he's not a fool. He's a sick player, but that's just how I talk. My bad. Anyway, I do believe we will get Rasmus Hoyland in the end. We're gonna have to bargain a lot and negotiate a lot. I think we'll get him for maybe 50 plus add-ons. They've clearly stated now they do not want a player plus cash swap. They do want cash only. It's just it's getting more and more difficult by the day. And when we start getting into those numbers, we might as well start looking at guys like Harry Kane, maybe not Ozyman because he's going to be a bit more than Harry Kane, but when we start looking into that 85 million pound territory, 100 million euros, we've got to actually you got to get yourself an established striker who's done it in a top league already, not some up and coming striker who's done it for 1 year. Like, he's had a good international career so far, but let's not forget before he was at Atalanta, I think he was on some Danish side and he didn't even really make it into that squad. So this is mental, and Atalanta are mental, but maybe I just need those drugs that they're doing. I don't know what they're on, but they're doing something. I do see negotiations happening on this, and I think that as soon as Andre Onana is complete, probably by the end of this weekend, we all hope it's by the end of this weekend, they are going to be moving swiftly onto Rasmus Hoyland. They're going to try and get him in. I don't know if he's going to honestly be in before the tour to the US, but I think they will try to get him in before that tour because the goalkeeping position and the striking position are the two most important positions we need on that tour to embed into this team. I know Mason Mount, he's going to be a starter, he's going to be great, but I feel like there's going to be he needs less time to understand the system and to embed in our team rather than a goal. We've never had a goalkeeper like Onana, so that's going to take some time. And we haven't had a proper striker in God knows how long. I'm not counting Ronaldo because he was a striker, but I don't. Let's just say a striker that actually fits the system. We haven't had one of those in years. I can't remember the last one we've actually had. Um, Zlatan, maybe Lukaku for a year, maybe. Um, it's been an awful 10 years with strikers, and I'm hoping we get the right one this time. But it's gonna take a lot of doing from our club and Richard Arnold and John Murto, and we just I just don't have faith sometimes. It's hard to have faith in these guys. Um, just seeing how the business has been run in the last couple years. I know they did last year, but let's not pretend let's last year wasn't a good transfer window. Yes, we got good players, but we waited so long on certain players that we overpaid. We got players in after the season started, kind of destroyed the beginning of our season and kind of hampered us down. We did manage to recover, but we could have been 6 points further than where we were and probably could have changed our maybe we finished higher than Arsenal last year because if we could have stayed neck and neck with them, that would have been more pressure. Things start falling from there. But that was then, and this is now. Anyway, I think Rasmus Hoyland will get done. It should get done in the next week or so. But yeah, let's see what happens. Let me know what you think about Rasmus Hoyland, and I think everybody here wants him by now. But the price for players these days is just getting insane, especially as we've just been fined by the FA for FFP, which wasn't a big fine, but it's never nice to get fined, especially when other teams have 115 reasons they need to get fined, and they're not doing shit about that. But anyway, not my place to talk about that. Let's move on. Amrabat. Amrabat. We've been told that Amrabat does want to join Manchester United. The issue is right now is that we do need to sell players, and we are not very good at that. We'll go through those outs. We do need to sell there's about 3 or 4 players that we can sell at the moment. It's just waiting for those to go through. But we've told Amrabat to wait for us. Now, will he? I'm not too sure because apparently now Liverpool are in the race to sign Amrabat. Uh, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it looks like Fabinho is going to the Saudi league, and Jordan Henderson could be going to the Saudi league as well, which means they'll need some more cover in the midfield, and that's where Amrabat comes in. That could be a big problem for us. Now, Amrabat is more like an icing on the cake deal. I don't think he's an absolute necessity. He's going to be very nice. We do need a backup for Casemiro. I know everybody was really impressed with Kobe Manu the other day. He's going to be an awesome player down the line, but he is not ready to be a backup to Casemiro. We need to sell players, and we need to sell them fast so we can fund these moves for players like Amrabat, Rasmus Hoyland, etc. Um, like I said, I'll talk about outs in just a minute, but it's just getting a bit worrying now that when Liverpool are now in the race, though we can offer Champions League, maybe a higher wage as well. But usually when Liverpool tend to go in for players that they do want, they do tend to get them unless it's Jude Bellingham. But every player they've pretty much gone for this summer, they've gotten. So I'd be a bit worried now if you do want Amrabat because they are entering the race and do need at least one more midfielder to fill those roles of Fabinho and possibly Jordan Henderson. What's his name? But yeah, I think it's getting a bit nervy with Amrabat. I'm sure there's other midfielders we are looking for. I did hear that we might be in for Lavia, but that's how all cooled over the last few weeks. I think it's just Amrabat that we're really, really interested in. We just need to sell players first. And speaking of selling players, let's get to selling players. Let's talk about some outs now. We've gone through some of the ins. Comment below. Tell me what you think about Onana, Zion Suzuki, Amrabat, Rasmus Hoyland all joining the club because it does look like all four are potentially joining. Amrabat, maybe. We don't know yet. But anyway, let's talk about some outs. Fred. Fred is on his way out. Multiple clubs in the race for him. We got offered a ridiculously stupid price from Galatasaray. They offered £6 million for Fred. This is the kind of shit that clubs are trying to do with us right now. They know we can't sell players well, so they're offering these low ball ass numbers for our players. 6 million for Fred. That is laughable, absolutely laughable. This bid was immediately rejected. I don't even think it got onto the table. I think it was more of a phone call. Like, hey, how does 6 mil sound? Boom. I don't even think they even said a word. Phone down. Anyway, but I don't see him going there. There's been talks about the Saudi Pro League, but I actually see him landing more in a place like Fulham. Marco Silva is a huge fan. He's got his some of his Brazilian mates there, like Andreas Pereira. I was gonna say Willian, but actually Willian looks to be going to Nottingham Forest. I think he is leaving, but he is wanted by Fulham. He gets to live in a city like London, and I think they are prepared to offer around 15 mil. I think we need to negotiate and try and get 20 million for Fred minimum. Yes, he has 1 year on his contract, but he has become a better player since joining this team. And we just paid 55 for Mason Mount. I see players going for 30, 40, 50 with 1 year left on this contract. We can get at least 20 for Fred. Let me know what you think about that. But I think Fred looks to go. He was not included on the preseason schedule with Leeds the other day. He wasn't in the lineup. He wasn't on the bench. But I think he did travel. He just didn't play at all. He's been training. So there's potential he could stay. There is now even the chance that he might go to West Ham, but I think that is just a decoy. I'm going to get to West Ham here in a second. But yeah, Fulham look to be the main candidates for Fred. Maybe Galatasaray if they can come up with more than 6 million. I think they've got to at least triple that before we even start negotiating. What a slap in the face. And we need to start fixing this. Teams are just bending us over backwards, giving us 1 million for Zidane Iqbal. When look at what City's doing with their goalkeeper who just went for 19 million. 1 million for a player who's been in and out of the first team and who had a great preseason last year. It's a joke how we sell players. It's an insane joke. Speaking of, let's go to more midfielders. Scott McTominay. Lots of noise about Scott McTominay that he could be going to West Ham. And actually for a decent fee as well, 30 million. Now, is this true? I don't know. I don't really know if he is a 30 million player. I think he is. I mean, Newcastle tried to sell us one of the Longstaff brothers for 50 million. I think Scott McTominay could be better than him. But the thing is, if we do sell Fred, I think Eric Ten Hag is very reluctant to sell McTominay. He does value McTominay as a squad player, and I do think McTominay is cool with being just a squad player. We don't actually know this, but um, yeah, I don't think Eric Ten Hag will actually push him out unless he really wants to go and get first team football because he won't get that at this club. He will be a backup, maybe to Casemiro to come into those cup games as well. So yeah, I would I would bite your hand off for a 30 million pound offer for McTominay. I don't know about you. I think that's a very good offer, and 30 million pounds could go straight to Amrabat. I think he would cost around 20 to 25 million. So there you go. I think that's an easy deal, and then we can get Amrabat in or another midfielder in that's on our list and move on. I think it's time that we part ways with the McFred midfield. I don't. I value them as players, but I personally do not want to see either of them at the club anymore. I don't think they fit into what we're trying to do going forward. So I don't see why they should remain here. And speaking of remaining at the club, whew, here we go. Harry Maguire. Yeah. Anyway, the players have returned to Carrington today. I think training started at around 8 a.m. this morning. Maguire was there, Rashford was there, Bruno was there. He was due to have talks with Eric Ten Hag today. Now, what fans may not want to hear is that Eric Ten Hag is actually okay with him staying as long as he's cool with being that backup. He's going to be like a fourth string backup center half. Remember, he played Luke Shaw ahead of him. But I think this entire decision is going to be put into Harry Maguire's hands now. It's up to Harry Maguire completely if he wants to stay at the club, get paid that 200 grand, or it's probably more now that he got that Champions League bonus and do nothing. And don't forget, also possibly miss out on the England squad for the Euros next year, or move to a lesser team and play that first team football. I think he would do excellent at a team like West Ham. I heard Everton are also interested. I just know that the big issue right now is the price we've put on his head. We've put a 50 million pound price on Harry Maguire. Now, I think people need to understand why we're putting that price on him. Don't forget, his wages are high. They're higher than any club other than us want to pay for that. And I think we have mentioned this before that we have that Manchester United will be willing to offer him a 10 million pound payoff. So if we're actually paying, or if we're actually getting a fee of 50 for Maguire, we're actually getting 40 because we've got to give him that 10 to go and lower his wages somewhere else. But here's what if you've watched my videos over the last few weeks, you know this is what my feelings are on Maguire. I think we were supposed to get it. We had a plan to get a center back this summer. I think we had a plan to get Kim and Jay. Things kind of fell apart with the whole Harry Maguire thing. Kim and Jay going to Bayern, and we also have been linked with that guy from Monaco, Desasi. But here's what I honestly think happened. I think we get a striker, we get our goalkeeper, we've got our midfielder already. I think we get one more midfielder, and Harry Maguire stays. He stays only until January, though. I think he will leave in January and go somewhere else. I think he will finally come to the realization that he needs to play for a club, get his minutes up so we can get into that Euro squad. But why I also think January is that I think this will happen. I'm hoping this will happen is that the club will finally be taken over fully by that time. The club will not be taken over this summer, guys. So we need to get that out of our head. But by January, this club should be taken over by a new team, by either Qatar or Jim Ratcliffe, whoever buys the club, and then I think they'll want to go out and make a statement in the January window by buying someone, and none other than Harry Maguire's replacement. We sell Maguire because by then, I don't think I don't think Qatar will really care how much. If let's say Qatar buys us, I don't think they'll really honestly care how much we sell them for, but who they bring in will define them for the next year or two. I think they'll want to have a big January window. Not saying buying a whole load of players, but buying at least one big player. So keep your eyes on that January window for definitely because we will and should have been taken over by then. Let's hope. We've been saying that for so long. But yeah, that's basically there's some other minor outs. There's like Eric Bailly looks set to go to Real Betis. Dean Henderson looks to be going to Nottingham Forest for actually a decent fee, which is actually nice, but no concrete stuff on that just yet. And Everton are do want or are interested in Anthony Alonga, but the price is pathetic. We need to get that price up. 10 million is a joke. Um, in my opinion. I'm just sick of I don't get it. He's a first team play. He's in our first team squad. He's an international, plays for Sweden. I think he's a starter for Sweden half the time. He's played in the Champions League, has goals in the Champions League. So 10 million, man, it's an absolute joke. It's mockery, absolute mockery. But that's pretty much all the ins and outs. Um, I have. If anyone has any questions, please comment below. I was gonna show some of my stuff, but maybe I'll save that for my next stream when we get more people on. I've got some cool memorabilia, but if anyone asks, I'm happy to show. I can either send pictures, but that's basically all the news I have today. I want to say thank you again for the 500 subs. It does mean a lot, and I hope we can get to 1,000 as soon as possible and we can just keep doing more streams like this. I have a plan to do a weekly stream now. I think we'll go live maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday. We'll see what works best with everyone. I'm going to get people in where we're going to talk about football, not just Manchester United, but football in general. We'll do podcasts and whatnot. So all of this is in the works. We just need to grow this channel together and get it bigger so I'm able to do a bit more. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. It's a good almost half hour. And yeah, I'll be back shortly doing this, maybe with some news tomorrow. If not, you'll see me on Monday dropping some news. So, yes, catch you all then. I'm looking forward to chatting more with you guys. Don't forget to comment on all my videos. I want more football chat. I love chatting football, and I can't do that without all of you. So, anyway, I guess I'll see you all on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you later.